Well, good evening and welcome. Y'all may not recognize me, but my name's plastered on a few things around this fair town. They call me Charles M. Goodnight.
Only to your face, dear.
I know. I was born March 5th, 1836, in Macoupin County, Illinois. Standing right beside me here is my beautiful wife, Mary Ann Dyer. I won't tell you what year she was born.
Not if you're smart. You can call me Molly. Charles, all these people came here to learn about us. Why don't you tell them some of your stories?
Oh, did you ever hear about the proudest cow in the West? Now you see, this one time.
Huh? I said they came here to learn about us.
Oh, us, okay.
So why don't you start off with something like your childhood or something?
Well, when I was 10, I gave up school. Never had much use for schooling. That's when my parents moved us to Texas. When I was 12, I was breaking in Mustangs. That's horses for you city folk. At 13, I was trapping and hunting with the Cattelo Indians. Shoot, I even tried my hand at being a horse jockey for a spell.
But that's not where his fortune lied. In 1840, there was a new industry beginning to take off. Cattle ranching.
Ooh, I started when I was in my 20s. By the mid-1860s, I was knee-deep in cattle ranching. See, I started when I got hooked up with these fellers that were out gathering up the cattle that broke loose and wandered about during the war.
You all know that as the Civil War. See, it was around that time, Charles and his brother, they were out looking for them cattle and rounding them up, and they met this nice man named Oliver and Loving.
Oh, Oliver and I became partners. Unfortunately, the Texas market became saturated with cattle, thus decreasing the price per head. But if we can get them up to Denver where the miners were, we can make a fortune. See, the gold rush was going on.
And that's what they did. Charles and Oliver, they round up all them cattle, and they set up for the most unique cattle drive ever. It was ambitious. Size, my goodness, that was something.
Invariably, we'd have to scrounge up some bills, and they were slim pickings at best. And that, my dear friends, is when I came up with the Charles wagon.
You mean the chuck wagon?
Oh, sure, that's what they call it now. See, what I did is I took a Studebaker wagon and I outfitted it to meet a cowboy's needs. Now, a Studebaker wagon was an old Army surplus wagon. I put this big box on the back end of it. It had shelves and drawers in it. It was great to keep the cook's things in order. Had a lid, and when you flopped it down, it made a perfect workstation. Alongside of the wagon, I put this big barrel of water, good for about 2 days. I put on hooks and brackets and shelves. Shoot, we even had a coffee grinder on that thing.
And underneath it, there was a big canvas. It was hanging there like a hammock. And they used that to carry the firewood, the timber, and cow chips.
Oh, yeah.
That stuff was hard to find on the prairies.
Except for the cow chips.
On the back of the wagon, they attached another wagon, a smaller one. And that carried the cowboys' bedrolls, their personal items, extra food supplies. You are so clever.
Oh, thank you. I like making things. Did I ever tell you I invented a saddle? The Goodnight saddle. Ready?
They're interested in the cattle drive.
Okay. Well, in 1876, on our annual drive up north, we got ambushed by Comanche Indians, and Oliver was mortally wounded. Before he died, he made me promise to take his body back to the great state of Texas, and that's exactly what I did. I turned that cattle drive around, and we headed back to Texas. Good is my word.
Good is his word. You know, but all those times out there, they weren't bad times, not all of them. We had some great times. I remember teaching them cowboys, or trying to teach them cowboys, how to read. You had some good times.
Oh, you're darn to it. Well, I recall one time, not too much later, I married the love of my life, Miss Mary Ann Dyer. And we were married on... we were married on...
July 26, 1870.
I was going to say that.
Okay. We were longtime sweethearts. Charles was 34 years old. I was 31. We married in Kentucky.
Sweet Kentucky. But you know what? Life on the range is no place for a beautiful woman. Luckily, the year before, in 1869, I was one of 3 owners of the Nolan Land Grant, 120,000 acres on the south side of the Arkansas River. Y'all call that Pueblo. Spent $5,000 and had them build me a barn. You can still see it on the way out to the reservoir, about 6 miles west of here.
We became prominent citizens in Pueblo. You know, we were even involved with the establishment of the First Methodist Church on 7th and Main.
What do you mean we? That was you. That took a whole lot of work.
Thank you.
Yep, we were busy. Pueblo was a young town, only 12 years old. Not nearly enough crops to feed my cattle. So I was busy planting cornfields and the first apple orchard in southern Colorado. But all those crops and orchards, they took water. And that's why in 1871, I started the Goodnight and Pollard Ditch, Fume, and Milling Company to build irrigation ditches. Spent a small fortune to try to get the Arkansas River to go where I needed it to. Shoot, if I waited 3 years, big flood come along and place it right where I wanted it.
That's true. See, look, they've all heard about the flood. Keep going.
1873, I started the Stock Growers Bank. We invested in the local opera house, but my proudest achievement was the cattelo.
I think you need to tell these people what a cattelo is.
It's half cow, half buffalo, but 100% delicious.
But unfortunately, it never took off.
Too hard to get the critters to breathe.
That wasn't the only thing that was hard. There was a financial crisis in 1873. Oh my goodness, that was so hard. We were forced to sell off most of our Pueblo buildings.
Yep, had significant losses. Why, we pulled up stakes and headed back to Texas. I was just 40 years old.
And you're not going to tell them how old I was.
Of course not, honey. 37. Well, we were successful still in Texas, and not just in the cattle industry. We became successful entrepreneurs. We dabbled in the banking industry. We did a little bit of newspaper business. I started the Goodnight College. And I even tried my hand at producing a silent film in 1916 called Old Texas.
And I wonder how that was missed by the Oscars.
You know, me too, honey. But then in April 1926, my dear Molly passed away. And I took ill thereafter, but I was nursed back to health by a distant cousin named Corinne Goodnight. She was a nurse and a telephone operator out of Butte, Montana. We started corresponding because of our common surnames. And I guess because I was lonely without my Molly, I fell in love with her. And on March 5th, 1927, I celebrated my 91st birthday by marrying Corinne.
And here we thought you were the gold digger. My God, she was 26 years old. She was still a child. And she was your cousin.
She was a distant cousin.
65 years is pretty darn distant.
Well, marriage didn't last too long. December 12th, 1929, I passed away at the sweet age of 93.
Wow. At 93, you were anything but sweet.
Well, they buried us together right next to my Molly, so I'll always be with her.
You see, that's not where the story ends.
No, because even in this town, I have a lasting legacy. I've got a street named after me and a school named after me. The Goodnight Barn still stands proud, a testament to my success. You know, there's a group here in town that's dedicated to the preservation of that old barn. I hope you look them up and help them out. I got an old bucket right here if you want to start today.
Not bad for a man who never learned how to read.
Nope. Just shows you what hard work and determination can do to make a person successful. And that is the story of Charles.
And Molly.
Good night.
Night.
Get along, little wagons. Got your own trails to blaze.